Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend. And guys, another day in the markets, another red day in the markets. As you can see, SPY down 0.04%. QQQ actually the only green sector on the day, as big tech pretty much led the way while most of the market was down. So today we had some Tesla deliveries. We had utilities absolutely falling off a cliff. We had yields absolutely skyrocketing, and fear continues to plague the markets, guys. However, this is a good opportunity, in my opinion, to be buying some stocks that you like at very good levels. If you guys didn't see, I uploaded a video yesterday of my top 10 value stocks that I will be looking to pick up in these tough times. So take a look at that if you haven't already. So today, we're going to go over our major indexes, our major tech names as usual, and my portfolio, as I did start off strong this week, guys, with a number of positions. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it right away. You can see here on the heat map, the only stocks that were green in the market were our big 7 tech stocks. The rest of the market not doing too well at all. Healthcare financials pretty much selling off, and utilities absolutely getting destroyed, guys. This was actually the single worst day on utilities in the last 3 years since 2020. So very, very, very bad day for them. Quick explanation for that, guys. It's very, very simple, right? Utilities companies are not known to grow earnings and customer bases that much on a year-over-year basis. Their entire premise is the fact that they do yield pretty high dividends, usually between 3 to 5%. However, the problem arises when your 10-year yields, when your short-term yields and also the 10-year yields come up into this high 4 and 5%. These are risk-free yields, right? So all the companies, these utility stocks, even though they are solid companies that tend not to grow that much, they are solid, but they're not risk-free. This government debt right here is deemed to be risk-free. So a lot of investors now pivoting and going into the risk-free government T-bills here for longer extended periods of time if they're looking to collect between 4 and 5% on a consistent basis. So that was pretty much the entire reason for utilities selling off. And they've been selling off here, guys, for quite some time. And you can see the sell-off has accelerated here ever since our last meeting with Jerome Powell, when he said that rates were maintained higher for longer. So a lot of major institutions here pivoting, guys. And I'll remind you, it doesn't take one afternoon to pivot billions and billions of dollars for institutions. They take more time, usually several weeks up to a month, to rearrange their portfolios here. So utilities collapsing today entirely, and the rest of the market's not performing too well at all. So we can also see here, guys, that our fear and greed index is still in the buy zone here. This fear and extreme fear is the buy zone. The extreme greed is the sell zone, guys. Got to rearrange our brains a little bit here to make the most of this information. And we can see on the one-day relative here, you'll see that the only positive ones, guys, were communication services and technology. Everything else selling off across the board. A bit of our September downwards momentum here really plaguing the markets. And on 1 week relative, you can see not much changed, guys. Most of this is largely due to last week's poor performance here. And I will remind you before getting into our tech indexes here, right? I will remind you that this seasonality is usually a temporary thing. So you can see this period highlighted on the chart here between these two lines is August and September, right? And you can see what happens. The 5-year is the red line. The blue line is the 10-year rolling average. The purple line is your 20-year rolling average. And this gray line down here is the last 30 years of S&P 500 seasonality. And you can see that all the time, we tend to roll over into August and September. And even though October can be slightly negative here for the potential first week and a half, it does tend to turn around here. So a lot of information in the next few weeks. And keep in mind, we do kick off our financials earnings here in roughly 2.5 weeks. So going to be interesting to see how the markets are going to deal with that. Now, let's get into our major indexes here, guys. Got a little bit to cover here. So what is happening on SPY? You can see that SPY, we were trying for the daily bounce. And now the daily bounce has kind of fallen apart Friday and today as well, right? But still not flushing our lows, guys. So the bears are in full control of this chart, guys. If we do continue to flush down, we are approaching the zone that I think that the bulls will find a lot of support. This is the 420 all the way down to the 405 range. A lot of support here, previous resistance, which is now going to come in as crucial support. Not a lot of support set on the way up here, guys. So it might be normal for the bulls to potentially come back down here into early October. But then I do think that we will be well positioned here. Not enough of a bounce, in my opinion, hesitating too close to these lows. Remains to be seen. Can bears break this? And if they do break this, will they get follow through, or will the bulls start playing a lot more defense and kick it back up here? So gonna keep an eye on that, guys. But for now, bears still in control of your daily downtrend potential here. And also the weekly, still a weekly downtrend. So still looking for the weekly bottom. How will you know the weekly bottom is set? Well, need to see a daily uptrend. Wherever this may be, if it rolls down here, need to see a daily uptrend. QQQ putting in a very healthy day, guys, largely responsible due to most of our major technology names being up. Now, a lot of people may ask, guys, why are technology names up in a rising rate environment here? Well, if you go over the balance sheets of most of big tech, you will see that their interest payments, guys, are not as high as you think. I won't go over them in this video because it would be too long, but you can go through all of them. Amazon, Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA, right? You can see Google as well, Microsoft. Their interest payments are not that high in relation to their free cash flow and in relation to the equity in their brands, guys. So that is why for major tech, they're kind of deemed to be a safe haven from rate increases. Yes, it will potentially hurt their future growth, but as of now, it does not translate into ballooning debt payments for them. So that's why big tech has been outperforming the rest here. QQQ also bounce undergoing here, but not a decent enough size bounce. I like that they've come up to the moving averages here, but not a decent enough bounce to 377 that I can for sure say, okay, we're set up nicely for a daily trend change here. May be due for a potential rollover here into the rest of early October. And if we do roll over, guys, you know that my sweet spot for QQQ seems to be a ways away still. It's around the 335 area. So we'll see. The only time that QQQ is going to roll over that hard is if you get a rollover in major tech here. And there are a few names that are dealing with potential weekly lower lows here. So we'll see. Can the bulls play defense in this area and support our 352? Or are we just going to get daily downtrend continuation? Continue our weekly downtrends here as well here into further consolidation and consolidate a bit further on the monthly, potentially down into the 340 area here, guys. So that's where I'm looking out for today. Bulls not looking the greatest, not looking the worst either, however. Got some people racing on my street or something. Anyways, so bulls not looking the greatest here, not that healthy. But again, they do have a little bit of space to work with here, guys. But the bears are in some pretty deep control here. Now let's look into financials here. Financials absolutely rolling over here, guys. One of our first indexes here to roll over from our bounce attempt and roll into lower lows here. So as I've been saying, guys, if we do roll over down here into the 32, 31 area, I will be a buyer of financials. They've been getting hit very, very, very hard by the most recent interest rate increases here due to the Fed's comments last Wednesday or 2 Wednesdays ago of higher for longer here. So still trying to find a bottom, getting quite oversold here. If you can see down here on the RSI, getting quite oversold here on these indicators. So we will be looking out for the daily bottom. Eventually, you'll need to see the bulls find a bottom here and reverse into a daily uptrend here. That will be the only indication that your weekly lows are set and that your weekly bounce will be underway here. But as of now, guys, financials not finding much support. In my personal opinion, guys, they will find much better support down here below 32.50 all the way down to around 32, this whole little pocket here after the banking crisis in March. Now, healthcare also rolling over from our bounce attempt. Not that much of a bounce going at all, guys, before just rolling over into lower lows. So now we're really dealing with disaster. Even though we recovered nicely into the end of the day, guys, it's not enough for me, guys. This area is absolutely crucial. I will reiterate, guys, that your 126, 127 area right down here, guys, is super crucial. Why? It represents a decent weekly low. This area here of 126-ish, right, has been support for so long in the past. And if we were to lose that, guys, you would lose pretty much a very decent area of monthly support here. Come down into here, into the 123, 122 area. It will not look good. You will heavily lose your 26 EMA, this orange line right here. So I don't want to see that, guys. If XLV wants... What is going on my street tonight? Maybe I should close the window, guys. Apologies for that. But anyways, XLV coming into an area of contention here, right? Remains to be seen. Can the bulls play decent defense? This is where I want to see them start stepping up here, guys, right? We're getting fairly oversold on the RSI as well. It's just been non-stop bears since pretty much mid-September here. So we'll see. Can we get saved here? XLF and XLV really need to stop the bleeding if you want to see SPY eventually be able to come up. QQQ cannot do all the work forever, guys. IWM Russell also flushing to lower lows here with financials getting absolutely destroyed here, guys. Even the regional banks, you'll see that the regional banks, which represent about 17% of the weight of IWM, they were down 2.5% today, guys. So really not a good job by the bulls playing defense here at all. We've now rolled well below our previous resistance area here. So daily downtrend continues, guys. If we do roll in to the 170, all the way down to 165 area here, this pocket here, you'll see it better on the weekly. This pocket is what I'm looking for to be writing options. So just a little bit more, and I will be looking to potentially buy this, as usually October, November, December is pretty good for small caps in terms of seasonality here. But as of now, guys, no signs of the bulls yet. We are just in a continuing daily downtrend. Remains to be seen. Can the bears continue pushing this, or will the bulls eventually start and get us into a position where we can start a new daily uptrend? But as of now, guys, I will be targeting the 170 down to 165 pocket here. Dow Jones names also underperforming the market, right? Daily downtrend just simply continues. Lower low set today as well. No sign of the bulls whatsoever, but the Dow Jones is significantly oversold, guys. If you look on the daily, right? The last time that we were in this oversold on the daily, you would have to go back to either the banking crisis or last September as well, right? So very, very, very oversold on the Dow Jones. Daily downtrend well in control of the bears here. Need to see the bulls starting to play defense. If they do want to pull down here into this 32,800 range, that wouldn't be too bad. Good little accumulation zone in this little pocket here. Seems as though they're trying in this area, right? But just can't get it done here. So I need to see a daily upswing and then daily uptrend to really confirm that this weekly move down is finished here. Quickly approaching some very dangerous levels, guys. 32,700 is absolutely crucial on the Dow Jones here. Need to see the bulls uphold that. Why? Because it is also a monthly level. 32,800, this line right here, is absolutely crucial here if you want to maintain the health of this monthly uptrend here, right? So all of that in mind, guys, the indexes are not looking the best. The QQQ is looking the best, but keep in mind this seasonality, right? Seasonality is where it's at, and we are at extreme fear. The yields have been absolutely skyrocketing, right? You can see the 10-year absolutely rocketing to 4.685, right? Everything is kind of hitting the fan at the same time, guys. And that's kind of the period that you want to be buying, guys, when fear is at the most, when things are declining, when utilities are having absolutely a destructive day, right? It seems as though we are approaching some form of climax. So just keep an eye on that. Now let's move into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin actually did something. So what did Bitcoin do? Bitcoin setting the daily uptrend here with Sunday's trading, right? So daily uptrend on Bitcoin is set. We're going to be looking for any pullback here is for a higher low. Anything above 26,000 is going to be for a daily higher low. Let's see if we can continue this daily uptrend going here, guys, right? Daily uptrend underway, which means your weekly bounce is also well underway here. Need to get as close as possible to 30K. Get me as close as possible to 30K before pulling back. We'll be setting up for a weekly higher low, potentially for a weekly trend change. But as of now, guys, not too much price action on Bitcoin, but it's nice to see the bulls finally come alive after doing nothing for the better part of the last 2 months. Now let's get into big tech. So big tech, Apple here. Apple with a decent little day here, 1.5% to the upside here. Still rejecting here from our below 170 area. So daily little bounce is underway. Need to see them getting over 176. Get me over 176, and the bulls have a chance to reset the daily uptrend to the highs, right? So keep an eye on that on Apple the entire time that we stay down here. If we potentially pull back here in the next few days for some reason, I will be looking for some puts in the 168, 167 area. Sweet spot for me. On the weekly as well, on the weekly, you will see, guys, that we are still in a weekly downtrend. So the weekly bottom is not in until I see the bulls set a daily uptrend. But I like these levels on Apple, and if Apple chills here the rest of the week, today was up, so I didn't really want to write too much. There was an opportunity in the morning, but I didn't take it. Wanted to see how the day played out, especially since the rest of the markets were red. I was expecting QQQ to roll over the entire day, but they didn't. So it was a good thing, but a bad thing that I didn't write any options on it. But if for ever which reason tech does pull back, potentially tomorrow here, back in the 171, I will maybe be targeting here the 169s for Friday here. Love Apple at these levels. AMD, decent little day as well, up almost 0.5% here. So bulls really holding on to a lot of gains that they made last week, right? So we were targeting the 104 area. The bulls engulfed, right? So this most recent daily downtrend, the bulls have engulfed the most recent level. Now, can they set the daily uptrend here. Anything above 94 is going to be a higher low for a daily uptrend attempt. Get me the daily uptrend and I can say that your weekly bounce is currently underway. It looks like it's underway, guys, but we don't have confirmation yet. So I need to see that confirmation. If for any which reason AMD continues to pull back here, I will be writing more contracts. And a little teaser for the portfolio, guys. I did write another AMD 98 for this week. Love this level on AMD, guys. Very good risk to reward in my opinion. 99 all the way down to pretty much 81. This is the area that I want to be picking up a lot of AMD shares in if we continue trickling down into this range. But good job by the bulls here, guys. But the job is not done. Need to see them do the daily uptrend here. Amazon, beautiful day on Amazon, up almost 2%, right? So your daily bounce is still underway here, but this drop was significant, right? So what I need to see from Amazon, well, I want to see them get up to 135. Get me up to 135 and you set yourself up nicely for the trend change. If we start pulling back this week, right, and start pulling back towards the lows, well, it's very, very simple, guys. Most likely we will cut the lows and come down into my sweet spot here. If we do, for some which reason, come back down into this zone, guys, 120 down to 112 is going to be the area where I want to pick up some more Amazon shares here. You can see on the weekly as well, weekly lows have been cut, but bulls have been playing some good defense around this 124 area. You can see that it is the 26 EMA on the weekly here. But if we do pull down, I will definitely be getting some Amazon shares. Bounce size just not yet significant enough for me to be able to say that the bulls have set themselves up nicely for a daily trend change attempt. But good job here coming off of our lows. If we do pull back into the lows, keep an eye, guys. I will be writing in the lower 120 areas here. Now let's move down to Google. So Google, amazing day from Google, guys. 2.5%. This is what I mean when I need to see the size of the bounce. Google has done exactly what they were supposed to do, guys. Put the fib on this. You will see they've come up now almost 618. Almost 61% of this most recent bearish move has been taken back by the bulls. That is what you want to see for a daily trend change attempt. It doesn't guarantee it, but we're putting all the probabilities on our side. They've created enough space that now any move down could be for a higher low above 128 and set up for the daily trend change, guys. If we get the daily trend change, that will mean that your weekly low is set here and will mean for potential weekly continuation of the upside here, anything above 127, right, was just your weekly higher low. So it seems as though we did have it right here, a bit higher around 129, 128.50, right? So we'll see, can the bulls follow through? Google, still one of the healthiest names in tech currently. Bit too high for me to be writing options, guys. I kind of like the lower 120 areas personally here, but great job by Google here of really upholding a lot of these tech stocks here. I mean, Google, one of the strongest names, very, very strong balance sheet as well. So really doesn't surprise me that they were really able to defend this whole 128 area, guys. I mean, this whole area was massive, right? Huge, huge, huge resistance and then huge, huge, huge support. So it doesn't surprise me that the bounce occurred right where it should have. So now step one is complete. Need to see step two. And now let's move down to Meta. Meta holding up fairly decently, guys. 2.2% to the upside here. So very, very nice job on Meta here, right? You can see that they have maintained somewhat of the daily uptrend intact, even though it's kind of very ugly in this rotation right here. So you can see, right, that Meta is doing a great job. What do I need to see? 312, break 312, and I will be able to say, okay, Meta has the daily uptrend back in their favor here. That will be step number one. Daily uptrend confirmed means that your weekly lows are pretty much in here. They would be in at around 289. Potentially, if we crack 312, guys, this week maybe, it'll be a new weekly uptrend, right? We lost slightly the momentum here on the weekly. It was a very, very beautiful weekly uptrend here, right? And then they lost it going into a consolidation range. If they break it here, they will recapture the weekly uptrend. So the key level for me right now on Meta is this high right here, right around 312.50, right? So it remains to be seen, can the bulls break it this week, but looking very, very, very healthy. If we do pull back on Meta for any which reason in this level, I may throw some cheeky contracts here, maybe in the 285 range. That is where I would want to make some short-term plays on Meta. But bulls looking fairly healthy, guys. Really nothing to say, no red flags on this chart. The only red flag would come if we do break our most recent low of 288. Then you would kind of sacrifice the daily uptrend into a daily downtrend here. Microsoft, also another 2% day on Microsoft. Beautiful little bounce going by Microsoft here, but Not enough for me, guys, right? So not enough. You can see the bounce has only made it up 38.2% of the way. So not as strong as the Google bounce, but I'll give it to them. Still bouncing. I need to see Microsoft come up at least to around 328, 329. Come up all the way here, guys, and then they will set themselves up nicely for the daily trend change. As of now, just looking for the lower high for potential relook at the lows. We'll see, can the bulls maintain the lows and reset into a daily uptrend, or will they just roll over, continue the daily downtrend, and continue as well your weekly downtrend, because we are in a weekly downtrend here on Microsoft, right? So those levels are key. If we do pull down here, guys, keep in mind my sweet spot remains 307 all the way down to 285. So if we do somehow roll over here, as the bears are expecting, it's all the proof is on the bulls right now. If we do roll down, I'll be picking up some shares of Microsoft, but nice little bounce going here by Microsoft. Need to see them come up into the 329 area here. Move down to NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, great price action today on NVIDIA, just grinding higher. NVIDIA finally coming up to a level that I do deem that is very bullish for them, right? So the size of this drop, guys, how much have we taken back? You can see that we've taken back almost 50% of this entire leg, but this is kind of a two-step leg, right? They kind of did it in 2 steps here, daily downtrend confirmed. We're now almost back up to our most recent leg. So in terms of this move, we have taken back over 80% of the move, guys. So they've created some decent space here, guys. Remains to be seen. Can they set the daily uptrend? This is going to be the same on everything, right? Can we set our daily uptrends, guys? We have not had daily uptrends on a lot of these stocks and indexes in the past 2 months, right? So it's been full bear control. So very anxiously awaiting a few stocks to be able to set these daily uptrends here. If we do for some reason roll back over here, guys, you guys already know your 400 level is the most important level. Why? It's your weekly higher lows, right? So weekly uptrend confirmed, confirmed. And now if we roll it over, it'll be weekly downtrend unto monthly consolidation. But good job by NVIDIA. Now this is step 1 complete. Now I need to see step 2. Give me that daily uptrend here and give the bulls some more momentum here. A few, semiconductor stocks, there's a few that are looking fairly bullish as well, right? ON Semiconductor is another one that comes to mind. Not giving back too much here in relation to the general stock market here. The last 2 months, you can see ON consolidating beautifully at the highs here, right? So that is what I want to see, right? Looking kind of like NVIDIA, not sold off as much as AMD and TSM. ON Semiconductor, very, very strong. They have a very strong cash position. They don't have that much debt. They're a very, very profitable company. This is one of my favorite plays in semiconductors, but nobody talks about them. Everybody's kind of caught up on NVIDIA. So we'll see, can NVIDIA lead the semiconductors to the upside? Now, Tesla deliveries, guys. So we have to go over the Tesla deliveries, don't we? So Tesla opened the day here very negative after these deliveries. You can see, guys, that we kind of fell off a cliff here, 4%. And then from bottom to top, guys, 5.86% recovery, guys. People must have come through their senses. Let's go over it very briefly, right? So they missed. Reported 435 deliveries for the third quarter and production of 430. However, the Wall Street expectations were 461. All right, so they did miss. However, you are reading this correctly. They finally delivered more cars than they produced. This is the first time in 2 years that they've done that. Very, very, very good. And Elon Musk did say during the company's second quarter earnings call, executives warned that production would decline sequentially due to some planned factory shutdowns. You can see it right down here, right? So we'll see that right down here. A sequential decline in volumes was caused by planned downtimes for factory upgrades. As discussed in the most recent earnings call, Elon actually said this, guys. He said that they were going to shut the factories down to do upgrades, right? Because they were reducing a lot of the parts used to create the vehicles, which is a good thing. So it's normal that they were only able to produce a slightly amount less. Now, will that translate into lower earnings per share? Yes, it will, okay? So there may be a slight stock decline on earnings per share in the next earnings call here coming up in 3 weeks. So expect that out of the gates. So since they didn't deliver as many cars as they were supposed to, revenue will decline, EPS may decline as well. Now it remains to be seen what will be the margins on the cars sold and what will be future guidance for Q4. However, guys, right, there is a silver lining in all of this, okay? I want you guys to take a look at this chart. This is the Tesla deliveries by year and by quarter, okay? Just take a quick glance at this chart. You will see that 2022 is here, and now in only 3 quarters, this has been the case, right? If you take a look, 3 quarters, this is the red box, right? Red box is always Q3. every single year almost since 2021, in only 3 quarters, we deliver more than the entire previous year. In 3 quarters, 2022, we delivered almost more than entirety of 2021. And now again in 2023, we delivered more cars now in only 3 quarters than all of last year, guys. It's a 27% year-over-year growth. This is absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And when you come out with headline news like this about them missing Wall Street expectations, you think, oh no, Tesla's doing bad. They're actually doing amazing. Absolutely amazing. Their production ramp is real at this point. They've been working through a lot of issues, upscaling their AI with Dojo supercomputers and whatnot, upscaling their FSD initiatives and everything, upscaling their charging network, upscaling their production capacity with their factories. Keep in mind, Tesla's opened like 3 new factories in the past 3 years, right? So all of that is now out of the way, guys. And now we ramp. Okay, so just keep that in mind in Tesla. The bad news was received, and then investors realized quickly that it wasn't that bad of a thing at all, and Tesla was able to rally here. So Tesla bounce is still underway here, but need to see a little bit more, guys. The bounce in all relation to our downside here, 279 down to 234, right? They've only recovered around 40% of the move, so not enough for me to say that the bulls are out of the woods. Get me back up to 260, and then I'll be able to say, okay, set yourself up nicely for a daily uptrend reversal here. But now the bear's still in control here. So if Tesla, for whatever reason, rolls over into a further daily downtrend, I will be a buyer of more Tesla shares in the 230 down to 210 area, which is also your weekly low area here. So you can see that the bulls are maintaining here over the past couple of weeks. Still a lot of space here to tighten up really into earnings, which may be the case here for the next 2 weeks, guys. You can see that earnings are pretty much Wednesday, October 18th. So if we do tighten up on the weekly here for the next couple of weeks until earnings, don't be surprised here, guys. And then we're going to break either way, where it's either going to be a disaster and we're going to come down and retest these lows here, or we're going to set the brand new weekly uptrend and move towards the highs. So I don't expect much crazy price action before earnings, but nice to see the bulls holding up most of the bounce here. And now let's move into our last two, Palantir and PayPal. Palantir giving a little back here. You can see that Friday and today were little givebacks by PayPal, but Palantir, but it's absolutely normal, guys. You had pretty much a 21% rally in 3 days. So the bulls are setting themselves up nicely for the daily trend change here. Good moving average support here. Anything above 1384 is going to be for your daily trend change attempt. So this is also step number 1, similar to Google. Set up a nice bounce, very beautiful bounce. Now, can they convert? Need to see them convert on these daily uptrends, guys, if you want me to say that your weekly lows are in, and now your weekly uptrend on Palantir can potentially be set as well, guys, right? If you continue here and continue to crack these highs because you've entered a new daily uptrend and break 1684 here, well, your weekly uptrend will be resumed as well. Then I can say that your monthly lows are also in, and we're due for a potential retest here of your monthly highs around $20. So Palantir performing beautifully, but need step 2, guys, okay? So keep that in mind. And now PayPal doing absolutely nothing, still stuck here for the better part of the last 7 trading days, guys. So which way will they break? This is a bear flag, okay? Usually due for further downside. However, PayPal has been crushed all year, all of last year, so it's normal that the bears aren't able to follow through, guys. It's maybe just a case of who is left to sell at these prices pretty much, right? A lot of retail and a lot of institutions have been picking up PayPal at these prices, so PayPal holding its ground, but it is a bear flag, okay? Just remains to be seen. Can the bears follow through with it, or will they just continue to struggle down here, and eventually the bulls could get an engulfing move going here? But full bear control here, and on the weekly as well, still full bear control. Need to see step number 1, need to see the bulls put in enough of a move here, come back up to around 62, come back up to 62 here. You get my attention for your daily trend change. Keep in mind, PayPal, if we do trend down to our lower 55 area, I will be averaging into some contracts here because my average cost is currently 65.81. So keep an eye on that for PayPal. I love PayPal at these levels. Have nothing bad to say about the stock. And now, lastly, guys, okay, my portfolio. So let's take a look. My portfolio got hit pretty good today, guys, because CSIQ and my banking ETF got absolutely crushed because of rates skyrocketing today. So wasn't a very good day. Didn't lose anything on options premium. It's just that with my average down of CSIQ last week and my banking share position, we did come down in the portfolio. So 31.74%, you can see on SPY here, currently trading around 11.68. And versus the NASDAQ, you will see that we're still outperforming the NASDAQ here slightly, down to 31.74. And the NASDAQ should be around, 27, 28 today, right? So still outperforming the NASDAQ here, but kind of getting a bit slim here. I do believe, however, that we'll be able to retrace a lot of this here in the remaining quarter of the year with good seasonality here. And now the positions, guys. So you will see that my positions that I wrote today, you can see I wrote the AMD 98 puts. So no surprise to most of you that follow the channel regularly, I have been writing AMD options all week, every week, guys, pretty much in this lower pocket area. So your 98 puts are here. We will see if we get assigned or pocket this 47 cents premium. Decent premium on this, 0.5%. We also have American Express. American Express got around 60 cents here for the 145s. You can see we're already up on those a little bit. American Express was in my video yesterday. It is now in my sweet spot here. So if you do come down, this yellow line is 145. Very good support zone right in here, right in this pocket right here. So I like it. American Express has come down a lot recently. And on the daily, RSI is oversold. So made the most of it today, guys. Wrote the 145s. We'll see how this position goes. I'm very confident in it. Now, third, we do have GIS, right? If you guys don't know what GIS is, let me pull it up. General Mills. So this is one that came up on my little scanner today. Daily, continuously oversold. Look at this massive downtrend here since May. Where is it pulling into, guys? Pulling into a lot of previous support area right here. So I like it. Weekly is the most oversold the weekly RSI has been since 2008. Right? So I like these opportunities, guys. Very, very juicy opportunities. That's why I say it looks like some things are hitting the fan. A lot of big players may be getting liquidated potentially or whatnot here, but I like this level. So currently 62.58. I wrote the 61s, only one contract, leaves me the space to average down into the potential high 50s if we do pull down into this support range right here, right? 57, 58, right? So I only wrote one contract. We'll see how it goes, but fairly confident in this position. These are all boomer plays. You can see Coca-Cola 55s, wrote them for 34 cents, right? These are all 0.5% plays pretty much. Coca-Cola 55 puts here, right? You can see only one contract. Why? Coca-Cola as well. Look at the weekly RSI. It's Coca-Cola. When's the last time this has happened? 2020. And before that, when's the last time this happened? 2008, right? So a lot of these yielding stocks, a lot of people buy Coca-Cola for the dividend, may have pivoted to potentially bonds here. And Coca-Cola coming into my sweet spot here, 55 all the way down to $50 is my sweet zone on Coca-Cola. Very decent area of support in this area right here. So we'll see how it plays out. And on the daily, you can see aggressive selling on Coca-Cola, guys. You usually don't see moves like this, right? Except for when things usually hit the fan. Like last September, proved to be a great buying opportunity here as well, right? So anytime Coca-Cola dips hard and fast, it usually is a good buying opportunity. Daily RSI is massively oversold as well. So that's why I took the position, only one contract. If it continues to drop this week, I will add more contracts. I love Coca-Cola at these prices. And lastly, ON Semiconductors here, guys. ON Semiconductor, I showed you guys before in the video, but ON Semiconductor, you can see that we wrote the 88 puts for 38 cents here. So we are down slightly. Actually, I don't think this is correct here. The 88 puts, right? So we will see that ON is trading at 93.37. Come down to this 88 spot, guys. This is a good area of previous support. That's what I'm banking on. Previous resistance as well. And on the weekly, it is a weekly tightening range. Haven't lost the weekly uptrend. We would lose the weekly uptrend if we break my 88, right? So keep that in mind for ON Semiconductor. I really like this company. Valuation is relatively cheap, guys, as well. You can see that they print revenue. They really print profit margins as well. Their valuation is low. The consensus here, all above current targets, right, on analyst consensus. PE ratio for a semiconductor is fairly low at 21. And if you take a look, guys, at the financials, the financials are up here. Take a look at the financials, guys. Solid stock, right? So look at this free cash flow. Yes, they have $3.5 billion of debt. Free cash flow last year was 1.6. I checked this for their most recent quarter. They still have cash and cash equivalents of around $3 billion. So they can literally pay their long-term debt off if they wanted to. Company is positioned very, very strong for the future. And now you can see, guys, that we did take a little bit of a bath here on TMF. TMF down to 4.6. Our average is 5.6. So we're down on that. You can also see that CSIQ today fell off an absolute cliff. My banking shares as well. So CSIQ, a large part of the drop today in my portfolio was my banking ETF coming down 2.5%. flushing our most recent lows. So now my banking ETF, guys, is getting to pretty much like 2-3 year lows at this point, right? So even though I do have a decent average, it has now been further crushed here as the rate increase fears and higher for longer continue to plague financials. And CSIQ, same story. CSIQ down 5.5%. It is still in my sweet zone. I averaged in at $25 last week, right? And now it's dropped even further here. So even though my break even is 28.34, you can see it right here. Break even is 28.35, right? This green line right here. It has just continued dropping and dropping and dropping. I'm expecting some further support here. This whole support zone is live and now down into this previous resistance zone as well. So we'll see what happens, but obviously solar not very favorable in a rising rate environment, guys. So that's pretty much it for your portfolio update. By the way, I'm not nervous about this position at all, guys. Company is positioned very, very well. Very good cash flows, very good cash on hand as well. Not a lot of long-term debt. Their valuation is ridiculously low at this point. It's like 4, all right? Like a 4 PE, right? So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider dropping a like. Consider subscribing to the channel if you are new here. And just, guys, please don't get nervous in this time. This is a time to be excited to buy companies that you've wanted on deep discounts here. And once again, if you haven't checked out my top 10 value stocks from yesterday, please check that video out as well, guys. And as always, if you have any comments, questions, macro, options, stock picks, leave them down in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. So take care, guys, and peace.